Well, good morning. How are you all today? And welcome to American Reversion. The first day after Joe Biden has been declared unfit, incompetent to do, well, we have known that, right? Well, there was a question: was he incompetent, or was he so sneaky, like the Chin up in New York? If you don't know who I'm talking about, Google the Chin. Was he just so brilliant he was sneaky and acting like he was incompetent? Well, I think most of us knew that he was incompetent, mixed up with a whole bunch. Take two parts incompetence, two parts of downright corrupt, and put them together. You got Joe Biden. Well, the important thing here, I thought I'd do a quick follow up on this after the one I put up last night, and just make that point. I'm not going to make a real long one here. Just make that point that the special counsel has now declared Joe Biden, the president of the United States. That's horrible to say that, isn't it? Incompetent, unfit mentally to participate in his own defense. That's the reason why they're not going to charge him with obvious violations. Okay? That's the only reason. That's why they're not charging. He's mentally insufficient to take to trial. Okay, I think that's the point we need to pound here, and the reason this is important is because this can be shared. And I went through all the other stuff last night about what they might do. They're going to put Big Mike in, and it's going to be real interesting to watch. I mean, this is, if this bus that we call a country anymore is headed toward the cliff, these are the ditches that it's hitting before it gets to the edge. I think it's going to be something to watch, and we have to stay vigilant. We have to stay involved. We have to be ready to take advantage of all the little things that are going to happen to push our cause and to fight our fight. But anyway, the reason this is important is that this is something that you can share with all those masses of undecided people. You're not going to affect the people who are hardcore Marxists and communists. That's the base of the Democrat Party. That is the Democrat Party. You're not going to affect those people at all. But hopefully, I mean, while you're out in public, while you're at work, while you're dealing with people, it gives you something to hammer them with. And I mean it. I mean hammer them. This is the reason that we have lost in the past. All the arguments is that they tell lies loudly, and we even refuse to tell the truth quietly. Too many people. Not all of y'all, okay? But too many on our side just keep their mouths shut because they're polite, they're courteous, they don't like to start fights. And I'm not saying start a fight. What I'm saying is be willing to tell the truth. See? The truth will set us free, and the truth is the only path to restoring this country and taking this country through a reversion back to where it needs to be. But this is something that you can use when you're talking to the undecided people. It's just as easily, to start a conversation. Well, you can say, boy, that is something about Joe Biden being declared unfit, right? And the person says, "What? I didn't. What do you mean?" And then you have a chance to tell him. Well, if he's been declared by the special counsel to be unfit to stand trial for his crimes, how can he be fit to be president of the United States? The two go hand in hand. Okay, that's the thing. That's what we need to now. That's what we need to do. Now, he did this, and they did this, and I'm sure it was all part of a plan, because he needed a way to escape justice. Simple as that. He knew that the evidence was so overwhelming, and his handlers, okay, He's not that smart. He was described as the dumbest senator there was in the Senate, and he is. He's stupid, but he is a politician. He is one of these swarmy, big smile guys who has a knack for getting the support of the so-called working man because he acted like it. Be that as it may, we need to use this as a hammer to drive the nail of truth into what we're doing. So you can say, hey, boy, isn't that something that Joe was. You can say, you can act like, gee, you're all concerned. The president, you can call him the president. Isn't that? And don't anybody say, I refuse to call him president. Hey, you're trying to accomplish a goal here, and you're not lying. This is another problem with our side. Our side says, well, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. Hey, do what it takes as long as you're not being dishonest. Okay? And so you can say, isn't that a shame that the president has been declared unfit? And the person who hasn't heard it go, well, what do you mean unfit? And then you tell them the story. You tell them about it, and that gives you an inroad. Okay? And you got to be careful when you start playing this game, because if you overplay your hand, it's going to drive the person away. It's a matter of just throwing out some bait and remaining, willing to answer questions, and willing to inform, but not forcing it. The great undecideds are the ones who feel uncomfortable with judgmentalism and things like that. And you have to make your decision as to how you're going to propose this, as to whether or not you want to be the bombastic, flamethrower and the righteous pursuit of truth. I'm not saying that's wrong. Do that if that's you, right? Or the person who presents it more gently. And the old sugar and vinegar, right? You attract more flies with sugar than vinegar, and that's the way. That's why Reagan was able to get as much done. First off, is why he was able to be elected. The entire Republican apparatus was against him. The entire Rockefeller wing of the Republican Party, the establishment Republicans hated Reagan. They hated him, and yet he was able to become governor of California and then president of the United States in a couple of landslides, because he appealed to the people in a way that he wrapped the truth in an affable personality. He was always smiling. He was always telling jokes, but occasionally he would come. And if you've seen some of the things that I've put up of him on the Patreon channel, by the way, thank you all for the ones of you who are joining us on the Patreon channel. And if you didn't know that we had a Patreon channel, yes, we do. The link is down in the information section. It'll only cost you $1 to come in, or you can give whatever you want, but it only costs you $1 a month. And I put up a lot of stuff over there that you will get something from, you'll enjoy, you'll learn from, and it helps you to become more of a part of the fight. To be honest, more of a part of the process. I appreciate you coming over there, but that's the reason Reagan was able to do so well, because he was. He was attractive. His personality was attractive. He was smiling all the time. He was telling jokes. But then when it came time to say a couple of things straight, he did. And he told the truth, not in a mean way, like Trump does, to be honest. I mean, Trump drives a lot of people away with his personality and with the things he says. And while a lot of us are saying, yeah, that's right, we like to hear that, millions of people are saying, well, what he said is true, but I just can't vote for him because. Okay, now hopefully that won't happen this time. Hopefully he'll be able to bring the people in. Enough people are, waking up. I'm just saying that in your delivery, you do what's right for you, but what works for your personality. If you have a more affable personality, than being hardcore is not going to work for you. However, if you have a reputation of being kind of hardcore you say it like you think it, then coming at it from a seemingly more reasonable point is going to work great, because people are going to say, well, gosh, if he or she, who is usually so strident in their opinion, is being thoughtful in this, maybe I'd better pay attention. That works. It's called influencing people. It's called politics. Okay, this is a political war. It's an information war. It's an intelligence war. It's a counterintelligence war, and it's a psychological war. It's an emotional war. It's all of those things wrapped up, and you have to be involved in it. And you can be involved in it. Just start, if you've never thought of yourself as particularly being one of these people, think about it. Because, our country was based on morals. It was based on certain values. And it has collapsed because we have gotten away from those morals and values as a society. Hopefully you haven't, I mean, not to say that, any of us are perfect. We're not. We're all sinful beings. But we pursue morality. We try to make our decisions according to a moral compass that we get from God. And but the country as a whole has gotten away and has collapsed to the extent that it already has, and it continues to, as a result of our falling away from that moral compass. So, you do what's right, but realize that morality requires you to stand up for what's true. And always refer to Edmund Burke's famous saying that all that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. And of course, by that he means men and women. And I have always added, in the face of evil, how can someone who does nothing claim to be good? So what we can do, instead of doing nothing, instead of not expressing our opinions, we are called to participate in this fight. It's the fight of truth over falsehood. It's the fight of good over evil. And it's not a fight that you can decide to sit on the sidelines and watch. Okay, because this is going to determine not just what happens with our country now. It's going to determine the kind of country your children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren live in and grow up in. Okay, so Joe is unfit. They've declared it themselves. We've known it ourselves for a long time, but we thought about it in a different way. Are we going to be able to return someone who is actually fit for office to the presidency? Well, there's an old saying that no one who will do what is necessary to win an election is fit to win that election. I don't know. I think it's a cute saying. It's probably a rabbit hole we could go down and argue about for a long time. But, here again, we have to stay out of those arguments and work towards the goal that we want, and that is the best choice for our country. So do your part, get out there, be involved in the fight. Don't be the good person who does nothing and allows evil to triumph, because evil has been triumphing. Okay. You all have a good day. Remember that America needs a reversion. It needs you to be a part of it, and take this new tool and get out there and use it, this new weapon, and get out there and use it in the fight. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.